Welcome to another Foster and Marshall podcast where we ask all the important questions and want to know the answers why.
Today we would like to send our condolences to all Anne Widdicombe's family and friends. It's horrific what has happened, and to be honest, we're in shock, aren't we, Foster? More than shock, actually. She was a wonderful lady who did a great deal of wonderful things, very kind and compassionate, and she certainly did not deserve, she really didn't. I mean, nobody does, but yeah, it's really, really sad. And we have to ask why, don't we, Foster?
And certainly understand the reason why. It was her political views, and unfortunately we're finding out that we've got some people out there that shouldn't actually be running around free. To be able to travel over 350 miles to literally bludgeon the 78-year-old lady to death tells you a lot about the individual. Whether you like the politics or not, nobody deserves or warrants a horrendous, heinous death like that. And as being a Catholic lady, you know, she had nobody to read her last rites. So I'm actually going to start by saying to people that they need to actually pray for her soul so that she will be able to enter the realms of heaven, which is the Roman Catholics' faith. That's what they believe, and we need to honour everybody's religion, which is what we're told, including our own, which is the Roman Catholic faith, the Church of England faith, paganism, Buddhism. We worship and value all of that, so it's in our best interest to respect those people and their wishes. I think why it's hit home for me is that this actually is very much in my neck of the woods. These are rural communities, very close-knit community, and we haven't had our communities split or divided. So this is where we all look out for one another, and I am absolutely sure that the good people in that local vicinity, I know exactly where it is, are going to be shocked and devastated that somebody could come into their community and, you know, basically take Anne's life. She was a forthright lady. I was very lucky to have met her as a Conservative MP and also as a staunch supporter of reform, and to have sat in the same room as her and been in the same energy as her, seeing her drive, her passion and her belief. And she was fair-minded. I mean, if you actually look at what Anne Widdicombe did, she supported a great deal of people in so many different ways. You know, people have said some pretty horrendous things about her, and they're all actually not true. She had her values, but she was also open-minded enough to try to see it from other people's perspectives. So I think the person concerned, you know, shouldn't necessarily be still walking. And I think that this is a time where we need to think about perhaps bringing back the death penalty in this country, because if somebody's got that capacity to get in a car and drive 350 miles plus, to do that to an individual, there's no coming back from that. No amount of time in prison is going to take what's in that person's mindset.
No. And as Foster has said, to do that drive and still be able to carry that out, in my opinion, is a real killer. That's not a crime of passion. That's a real killer. And I agree with Foster in view of all the things that have come to light as well, and there's plenty. I think the death penalty should be thought about more seriously. I think if humanity knew half of what has gone on behind closed doors and hidden, I think there really would be massive, massive uprising of people. There are things that Foster and I can't even bring ourselves to talk about because they are so dark, and it does affect you because it's your frequency, it's your heart-brain frequency. It can make you physically ill. A barrister friend of mine, a good friend, had to have counselling after she heard horrific things that have happened in the world. So, yeah,
I think this just sort of tags on. It's just been on the bounce, really, because I think the death of Anne Widdicombe is kind of the penultimate, because we had this with Henry Novak and we saw how that was handled, how the killer basically stood there lying, knowing that he had physically stabbed Henry 5-6 times. And to do that is inhumane. It's actually inhumane.
Cold-blooded.
The same as when you see somebody wielding a large 24-inch probably blade trying to sever somebody's head off in the middle of the road while he's still alive.
Yeah.
These people they're in a league of their own. These people are not normal human beings. They don't have a moral compass. There is something fundamentally missing. Yes, you can get angry, you can express yourself, you can say things in anger that you may not necessarily mean, and we use some very, very negative language sometimes, even for the most minor things.
Yeah.
But to be able to do that, these are 3 really very public murders now. There's no manslaughter involved. This is murder in the first degree.
Yeah.
And you cannot escape from that. They are, they can say that they're mentally unwell. Well, fair enough, but I don't think they should ever be allowed to walk free again. I don't think even 21 years is long enough.
Absolutely.
And because it's barbaric.
I agree, Foster.
And at the end of the day, Henry Novak, young man, just started off university, probably really excited about his future. He'd I think it was, I think his university degree was in architect. I think he wanted to become an architect. So you're looking at somebody who's very creative, somebody who's probably really in touch with what they want to do and how they want to perceive their future to be. And again, that's only a generalisation on my part, but somebody young and enthusiastic about starting their life and was literally just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And this person in Belfast, I believe he was, the person that was having his head severed was basically somebody with learning difficulties. So somebody who was completely innocent, very naive, somebody who actually needed to be protected, not necessarily placed in the harm's way of some barbaric killer. And, as I say, to be able to get in your car and drive 350 miles, I mean, I do, and have done the drive from, I'm just going to say, Devon to the southeast, in sort of Guildford area, Surrey area. And I can assure you, there is no way I could have maintained that level of anger. No matter how much somebody was going to pay me, it just wouldn't have been able to have happened. I just wouldn't have been able to have done it. And by the time you've gone round a few roundabouts and a few set of traffic lights, you're concentrating on your drive, not on necessarily bludgeoning somebody to death. So I really don't know what's going on. It just doesn't seem rational.
There's crimes of passion, isn't there? Which is where you can do something in a moment, and you can be incredibly sorry afterwards, but the point is it's crime of passion. But this is a totally different league. This is killers, real trained, in my opinion, killers. You know, it's not a disgruntled gardener who's gone in and done something. This is a cold-blooded, paid, in my opinion, killer.
Absolutely. But I think as you started
we're seeing
off,
a lot of it.
Well, it's a run, isn't it? We've seen it in a very short space of time. And I think that's what's made it even worse, really. And I think it's just literally impacted. You think, well, it can't get any worse.
Yeah.
And you think, no, that's just like a one-off. But there does now seem to be a pattern forming, and it's a very, 100%. Very unpleasant pattern.
And then it makes you wonder, because obviously, because I'll be honest, and I'm speaking from my heart, as I always try to anyway, I imagined Anne Widdicombe going about her life in her home where you feel secure. She could have been at her desk writing. She could have just decided that she was going to have a late lunch, but nevertheless, it's all in the security of our own home. And then to have somebody actually walk into your property, because you can be under a false sense of security in your home. Bearing in mind, we come from a time when we could leave our back doors open and, you know, there wasn't any worry about this at all. And I'm not just saying this is fact. The young people might find this hard to believe, but we were a lot freer, and all in the name of progress. You get this, and it isn't progress. Please don't believe it's progress. It's not at all. Any progress is to chain us up even more and to stop our freedoms. We all used to have a local paper, and I know we've spoken about this before, but a local paper is actually very important because you all get to know what's going on locally. Again, it can be hidden away now, and you don't always get to hear what's gone on. And you certainly don't get any details because you haven't got the journalists on the ground. So that's not progress, that's going backwards. And then going back to Jill Dando, journalist murdered on the doorstep. And then we come right up to recent times. It's just getting much worse. It isn't progress at all. I just hope that they find her killer and that it is the right killer and that we get to hear why he did it. Why? The motive behind it. But I think everybody listening will agree that we are in some very dark times and we all need to be very, very observant now and look after each other more and watch each other's backs, because we don't know what's coming next. Literally, we don't know what's coming next. Having said that, I'm a great believer in the divine. I've seen signs of the divine myself, and also I'm sure everybody has, because lots and lots of things have been uncovered that have been very evil and very dark, and they have now been uncovered and people can see and hear what has been going on. And there are some absolutely wonderful, high profile people that are looking out for us all. I think I'll pass over to Foster, if you're there, Foster.
Yeah, sorry. Talking about divine, I had to just go and let out a butterfly that was flying around, and it was flying around here, and I thought, no, it's
Well,
by the
there we
door.
are. Another
I need to let
message.
it out. It was a beautiful red admiral, so just to share that with the viewers,
Yeah,
sorry. Although I
yeah.
was kind of distracted down here, and I was thinking, okay, what do I
I did
do?
see that, Foster, and I thought, oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was, I had a butterfly that was taking interest in the flowers, and then I was thinking, okay, I'm just gonna open the door, so I'll
Well, that's
disappear.
interesting, isn't it, Foster? Because here I am sitting talking about the divine. I didn't know you had a butterfly flying around.
No, neither did I until it came right in front of me, and I thought, uh-oh. Um, no, I think all we can do now is wait and watch,
Yeah,
wait and see. I think you've got to think beyond, obviously Anne Widdicombe was a huge political figure, but Henry Novak wasn't. He was just a ordinary young man doing
yeah,
his life. The person with learning difficulties was just an ordinary person living in his own simple world, and just didn't deserve that kind of attack. But it's not just that. There's lots of stabbings that's going on up and down the country, and I agree. I think that we do have this sense of security within our own domain. And that's what I was saying about the local communities too. Certainly here in Devon, we're kind of still living in a bygone age, and I think that this will certainly ripple amongst all the communities in her local vicinity. On every day, she was just an ordinary lady that went to the shops just the same as we
yeah,
do, and
yeah,
lives her
yeah.
life just the same as we do. I
I
think
think
that
we must all look out for each other and be more observant. Just really, really, really be more observant. We're all given a gift of our intuition. I know some people, they find it hard when it comes to intuition, but you can actually train yourself in that if you want to. Tune into your intuition. It's your heart-brain connection frequency, but that's more for our health and wellness channel, which we're going to be doing very soon. And I can hear not my darling, but our darling Odin there, putting his point across, which is, I'm the security guard here, so no one's going to get through this door.
so if you want personal security, invest in a
Yeah,
German Shepherd. One, they'll keep you
absolutely.
fit, and two,
And they're
nothing goes
adorable.
past them.
Yeah,
Yes, intuition. Intuition is our innate gift of feeling what's right and what's wrong around us. This is back to ancient man, hunter-gatherer, and really all we need to do is to highly attune it and become more aware of it,
absolutely. Yeah.
and not override it, which is what a lot of people do. You get an
Well, we've
instinct
done it,
about
haven't we,
something.
ourselves, to our detriment.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that is it. You cannot go and bypass it. You have to make a mental note of it and be aware of it,
Yeah,
you know. And as you said, we'll be talking about that more on the Foster and Marshall podcast,
yeah, yeah.
in the future. But,
But if you do see someone being chased, and you honestly, phone the police. Don't just think, oh, it'll be all right. do something. I know people are frightened. I mean, there's this fear factor too, isn't there, Foster? And you can't blame people for that, being fearful of seeing something. Or I'll tell you what,
Intervening.
those people were brave, weren't they, that went out and helped that poor man having his head cut off in the middle of the road. And that's exactly what happened, isn't it, Foster? You
Yeah.
can get the media, washing over it, putting it under the carpet. That seems to be the norm these days, doesn't it? Brush it under the carpet, but we don't. And those people were brave, and our hearts go out to them all,
I think this is where we've got to think about freedom of speech, keeping everything real, because at the end of the day, if it hadn't have been of those people filming it, we wouldn't have known that had actually happened, because the mainstream media are literally holding back information now. They're actually lying to us. In a way, it's a form of deception.
Well, they're not journalists anymore. They used to be, but they're not. They just read from a script, don't they? So, yeah. Now, I would like to, Foster, if possible, talk about the databases, just a small piece on this. We're all told to look after our environment and the natural world. If we allow these databases, and I pray to God that we don't, and I'm being serious, these databases are more than what you think they are. And number one, they will extract everything from us: water, our free thinking minds, and a lot more. Please don't accept databases. They're really, really bad. It's got nothing to do with digital. I don't agree with that either. They'll say it's digital, but it's a cover for what they're really up to with that one. It's AI and much, much worse. It's all about control, stopping freedom. Don't accept it. They're a danger to the environment. They really are. They're going to take thousands and thousands of gallons of water a day. And where's that water coming from? We're only on a small island, and we've got millions and millions and millions more people now. And then in 1976, I believe it was, where we had a massive heat wave, and it lasted for 3 or 4 weeks, and it was standpipe. So we didn't have databases then, so thank God. But imagine if there was even one now, what that would do to us all, and what would they be doing to us with water? What would come first? The database or us? Please think about this and ask why. Why would you want to put a database on even one on a tiny island that's going to take thousands of gallons of water and cause massive destruction to the environment and us personally, our own say? It's a God-given right to have water. We shouldn't have to pay for water, in my opinion. Nobody should be paying for water. They cut off the wells, and so the wells, we haven't got the wells now. They were taken in the 70s. In actual fact, Clarkson had that on one of his first episodes about the wells, and he had an old film, and it was of Chris Tarrant, who was going out doing the rounds then, doing a bit of journalism on the ground, talking to people who'd had their well cut off. It's like having your water cut off, isn't it? So yeah, I think everybody's got to question everything and ask why now. So there we are, Foster. I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add.
No, not really. I mean, we've covered it. We really need to think about it. I know that there's one in Torrington in North Devon planned, and there's a big campaign against it. And also,
Yeah.
I think it's Thiel in Scotland. So, they've earmarked this up and down the country, and they are huge, huge
I think Neil
centres.
Oliver is doing that. He's doing a bit
It's
on that
He's got a
database.
podcast right now, so look out and check out
Yeah,
Neil Oliver, because he's actually walking along the beach, and he's saying about the bird population and how the wind farm will actually destroy the colonies of birds, because what a lot of people don't realise is that they're being literally taken out of the sky by
yeah,
the blades of the wind
yeah.
turbines. And I
They
don't
don't
know
tell you
why
that in the
everyone
media, do
thinks,
they?
yeah, well, they won't do that, will they? And I don't know why they don't realise that birds don't understand that somebody's put a dirty, great big windmill up in the middle of the sea,
Yeah,
that that is their flight path. So
yeah,
nobody warns them. And again, it's this contradiction, isn't it? This constant contradiction of we need to save the planet, save the environment. So we're fed that message, but we as a government are actually going to destroy it. So we'll leave you thinking about that while we're actually desecrating it. And
yeah,
that's what you've got to
yeah,
think about. You've got to think about you've got a government that stand on manifestos telling you one thing and then actually going and doing the opposite, or not actually
yeah.
doing anything that they've stood
Absolutely.
on. But the message to us is save the planet. And I have to
Yeah.
say, where I am now in Devon, I've seen great huge oak trees, ash trees, all taken down. They're actually
Heartbreaking.
wanting to take down quite a lot of the woodlands down here in Devon, and they already have done for infrastructure. I mean, certain road systems down here, they've taken massive swathes of wildlife, and now they're trying to do it for even more building. So where we have, the Dartmoor National Park, I think that they will be trying to build on that soon. I don't think it's going to be long before, it's like, well, we'll build a housing estate right here and this, that, and the other. And I think for me, I think, it's all done under the guise of the local community. But sadly, that isn't the case.
Well, they
It's
don't,
not the
nobody
case.
asks the community, do they, Foster?
Well, it's not for the local community. I mean, that's the thing,
Exactly.
it's not. And if
Yeah.
you ask the local community, they'll say to you, we don't want a database on an area of outstanding beauty where there are some pretty rare wildlife that,
Yeah.
fauna and flora. So, no, I think that this is a big contradiction
Yeah.
of what's really going on.
Yeah, I think everybody has got to come together on this island we live on. I really do, because we've got to be united, because it really is united we stand, divided we fall. There's no,
Absolutely.
So I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's made comments for our podcast. We really, really appreciate it. Yeah, and apologies for last week because we didn't make a podcast, but we are planning and doing a great deal at the moment for our other podcast, which is the health and wellness, what we are so excited to be doing, and our workshops. But yeah, no, it means a lot to us to have this podcast and have people listening to us from all over the world. Really appreciate it to you all out there. Just, be united, because I know in the US they're putting databases or planning them out there too. Just say no and unite against it, because they're really bad, really bad. And when you think of what they're doing, I mean, £500 million Blair's son and daughter-in-law have been given to push for these databases, digital AI. Ask yourselves, why would you put so much money? What is the thing for them that, and it's going to always come back to control and more. So yeah, so all of you, take care out there. We wish you loads of love, and we'll see you again soon, won't we, Foster?
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay sane.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.